Are you newly postpartum and you wonder where to start? I'm going to show you. So first off, let's talk about how you're going to heal as a new mom. I like to talk about the science of healing to help you better understand what is normal healing postpartum. So my joke, but it's real, is a bad zit takes 2 weeks to heal. Number one, I care if your C-section scar heals and I want your vag to have a break. So the first 2 weeks, I just care that you are just eating nourishing foods, sleeping to the best that you can, just resting. Like, don't stress. The first 2 weeks is just you and your baby. If you can take a stool softener, because if you are on medications, you will get constipated. So a stool softener is about the only thing I really have you worry about in this first 2 weeks. Then after those 2 weeks, you start to feel like you're more yourself, you're walking around a little more. I personally like to have people still wearing an abdominal belly binder to help give you support, because you did have a baby in your belly and it was like a big kickstand supporting your abdomen, and now your abdomen is like, bloop, bloop, bloop. You're basically like a little garbage bag of bones. So an abdominal binder will help you feel a little more stiff in a good way and feel more stable. So exercise-wise, when you are 2 weeks postpartum, looks like doing some deep breathing. So on your back, knees bent, taking a breath in, blowing out. And as you blow out, your lower ribs are going to come down and in. And I just want you to rest your hands on these lower ribs. And when you breathe in, you're taking in volume, and those ribs are going to come out. And when you exhale, down and in. Now, when you get really good at diaphragmatic breathing, on that exhale, the biggest exhale, your lower abdominals are going to fire. So that is a nice intro into rehabbing your deep core. For your pelvic floor, if you had a vaginal birth, you had some trauma. Those muscles were distended and the nerves are stretched as well. And so if we're going to start you doing Kegels and you just had that vaginal birth, I'm going to have you on your back, knees bent. And the reason we start lying down and with your knees bent is it puts gravity as our friend, helping to bring those contents in your vagina back towards the pelvis. So having somebody do 5 reps of just trying to squeeze that pelvic floor for like 1 second, that's enough, because we're getting that connection between your brain and your pelvic floor muscles and getting it to fire. It doesn't have to be big. We just start small. If you had a C-section, you can obviously start doing maybe 10 times and see how much you can hold, 2-3 seconds. Now with you, we're not doing anything crazy quite yet. We can have you do that deep exhale, C-section mama, and tighten that lower abdomen, but we want to be respectful of your wound and your scar, and we don't want anything too much. Gentle walking around for all women postpartum matters, but if you had a C-section, I really don't want you baby wearing while doing like a walk, because if you're like trying to get your steps in to like just get better, wearing the baby's going to put a little more stress on your abdomen that is just been surgically done. So I don't really feel strongly about having you doing the carrying of things or pushing a stroller, because I need to protect that abdominal wound, and I need you to know that you had a surgical procedure, which is a big deal, just to be a little bit more cautious to you. Now we can get your like vagina going a little faster, so that's a pro, but don't worry. I also want you wearing an abdominal binder because I want to give you pressure. Other things to think about is when you are standing, roll your shoulders back. What's going to happen is, as a new mom, you're going to start hunching more because you're holding your baby, you're bottle feeding, you're breastfeeding. Obviously, when you're doing that, everything is coming forward, and that puts a lot of pressure on your abdomen. And I'm going to ask you to kind of roll your shoulders back. Think about squeezing those shoulder blades down. Or some yoga instructors like to say widening your clavicles. I don't oftentimes say that because you can't really widen that bone. But if you are thinking about engaging your pelvic floor, doing breathing, gentle abs, just engaging that little lower ab and rolling your shoulders back, girl, you are slaying that first month of postpartum. Congratulations.